Hello, wonderful learners. You're all welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into a powerful and inspiring African drama in the beacon of light titled DAWUNI'S Dream. In this lesson, we'll explore the title, plot summary, setting, narrative technique, themes, literary devices, characters, and then some examinable questions. Now let's begin with the title. The title of the drama is DAWUNI'S Dream. DAWUNI'S Dream is a traditional African drama. The title, DAWUNI'S Dream, carries both literal and symbolic meaning. Literally, it refers to Dawuni's aspiration to become the king despite his weaknesses. Symbolically, we would say it represents the dream of transformation from failure to fulfillment and from weakness to strength. So we can clearly say that it is a moral drama because it teaches that destiny can be achieved through humility, learning, and self-transformation. Plot summary. In the kingdom of Dagaani, two brothers, Dawuni and Anzansi, vie for the throne after their father's death. Dawuni happens to be the elder brother who has a very good heart but is seen as a drunkard and irresponsible. Anzansi, which is the younger one, is very intelligent but deceitful and power hungry. So when the kingmakers must choose between them, Dawuni's drunkenness embarrasses him, and Anzansi appears to be the better choice. However, Dawuni's loving and wise girlfriend, Alheri, refuses to give up on him. She teams up with Amfani, who is a kind elderly woman, to take Dawuni away to another village. There, he learns discipline, wisdom, and leadership. When Dawuni returns, he is a changed man. Now he is confident, he is educated and wealthy. He challenges Anzansi and defeats him, proving that true leadership comes from character, not kerning. As king, Dawuni faces a drought, but through faith and ancestral rituals, he restores rain to the land. Peace and prosperity return. Later, Alheri, his girlfriend, gives birth to their son, Andy, who grows up to become a wise and just ruler, fulfilling Dawuni's dream of a strong legacy. The play ends with hope, unity, and continuity, the kingdom thriving under the wisdom of 3 generations. This is a very nice and interesting drama. Now let's move on to the setting. Place: the kingdom of Dagaani, which is a traditional African society with royal courts, market squares, shrines, and ancestral villages. We have scenes like the royal palace, where the debates for the throne. We also have scenes like the village square. We have Anfani's cousin's village. That is where Dawuni's transformation started. Also, we have the palace and throne room for coronation and rulership. Lastly, we have the ritual grounds for the rain dance ceremony. Time. The time we would say is a pre-colonial African period when ancestral worship and oral tradition guided governance. Mood and tone. For the mood, we realize that the story moves from tension, that is during the secession conflict, and disappointment to hope, which is during Dawuni's reformation, and also joy, that is during his coronation and birth of his heir. So the story moves from tension, disappointment, to hope and joy. It begins with conflict and gossip, then it shifts to inspiration and celebration. For the tone, the playwright's tone is moralistic, didactic, and inspirational because it teaches moral lesson that is humility over pride, faith over deceit, wisdom over intellect. Narrative technique. We also notice that the play uses a third-person narration through dialogue and dramatic performance. The chorus functions like a narrator commenting on events and also summarizing actions and voicing the conscience of the society. We also have the stage direction, which describes the movements, the setting, and mood to help us visualize the drama. Characterization. The first character we'll talk about is Dawuni. Dawuni is the main character and he's the elder brother. He happens to be weak and drunk at first, but reformed through Alheri's love and Anfani's mentorship. He becomes a symbol of change, humility, and a true leader. The next character is Alheri. Alheri is Dawuni's intelligent, loyal girlfriend. She's a catalyst for Dawuni's transformation. She represents love, wisdom, and feminine strength. The next interesting character is Anzansi. Anzansi is the younger brother of Dawuni. He is educated but cunning and envious. He represents pride, he represents moral decay and corruption. So defeat teaches that knowledge without virtue destroys. We have Anfani. So Anfani plays a role as a wise, kind, elderly woman. She serves as a mentor figure who bridges tradition and transformation. She symbolizes ancestral wisdom. We have the kingmakers as well. The kingmakers were the elders who guard tradition and choose the king. They represent justice, culture, and societal values. We have chorus. They act as storytellers and moral commentators. So you see, it gives background, entertains, and it reinforces lessons. Male and female gossip, they obviously represent public opinion. Their gossip reviews community values and shows how society reacts to leadership issues. Now we'll move on to the literary devices. We will start with symbolism. Symbolism is when a person or something represents a deeper meaning beyond its literal meaning. So in the drama, we realize that we have the rain dance. So here the rain dance represents renewal, it represents divine approval and hope. Also, the use of crown represents leadership and responsibility. We have ancestral drum. This also represents communication between the living and the dead. The next literary device is irony. Irony is when the opposite of what is expected happens. So we see Dawuni to be a drunkard, and now he becomes a great king, while the clever one, Anzansi, fails. Imagery. Imagery creates pictures in the reader's mind. So the coronation, the rain, and dance scenes create strong visual and emotional pictures in our minds. The next literary device is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is when the writer gives hints or clues about what will happen later in the story. So we also notice that Alheri's determination gives hints or early clues that Dawuni will change eventually. The next is conflict. Conflict in the story is the struggle or the problems. And then we have two types of conflict. We have internal conflicts and then we have external conflicts. The internal conflict is the problem or the struggle between you and yourself. And then external conflict is between you and then someone else. So we realize that for internal conflict, Dawuni was battling with himself and then his weaknesses. And then the external conflict, he was battling or he was having problems with himself and his brother Anzansi. So we see the good versus evil. And now we have Proverbs. Proverbs are short, wise sayings that teach moral lessons. So it roots the drama in African oral heritage and wisdom. The last we'll talk about is chorus and dialogue. They review emotions, they summarize themes, and engage the audience rhythmically. Themes. We have quite a number of themes in this drama. Let's talk about leadership and transformation. Clearly, true leadership comes from humility and growth. We realize that Dawuni transformed and at the end he became a leader. The next theme is redemption and change. Yes, anyone can change with guidance and determination. When you are determined and when you are guided, definitely there will be a positive change. The next theme is the theme of love and support. Alheri truly showed love, and her love transforms Dawuni. Without Alheri, Dawuni probably would still be a drunkard, but she showed him love and support. The next theme is wisdom versus knowledge. So yes, intelligence without morality leads to ruin. You can be intelligent, but if you do not depict a very good behavior, it will lead you to your downfall. The next is faith and ancestral power. So we realize that the ancestors' blessings sustain the kingdom. They do not joke with their ancestors because the ancestors bless them, and these blessings sustain the kingdom. Next is good versus evil. We see good versus evil in the drama. So there is this moral contrast between the two brothers, Dawuni and Anzansi, fighting over the throne. Next is unity and forgiveness. So at the end, we realize that Dawuni forgives Anzansi, and this helps promote what's peace. So yeah, there was unity and there was forgiveness. And lastly, we'll talk of legacy and continuity. The birth of Prince Andy ensures the future of Dagaani. So we have 3 generations: Dawuni's father being the king, and then Dawuni also became the king, and then now Andy too is the king. So there is this continuity of what legacy. Let's try our hands on these questions. Try as much as possible to put your answers in the comment section. If you have any question, please do well to ask in the comment section. Question 1. What does the title Dawuni's Dream symbolize? 2. Why did the kingmakers doubt Dawuni at first? 3. How did Alheri and Anfani contribute to Dawuni's transformation? 4. In what ways does Anzansi misuse his intelligence? 5. What is the significance of the rain dance scene? 6. How does the play portray the role of women in leadership? 7. What lessons about leadership can modern readers learn from Dawuni? 8. Explain 2 major themes of the play. 9. Identify and explain two literary devices used in the drama. Lastly, number 10. What is the moral lesson of DAWUNI'S dream? A quick recap. So, in DAWUNI'S dream, we witness a journey from failure to fulfillment, a tale of a man who conquered himself before conquering his enemies. So, through Alheri's love, Amfani's wisdom, and ancestral faith, DAWUNI transforms into the king his people need. The play teaches that education without integrity is empty, but humility, wisdom, and love can rebuild any destiny. The drama ends with a new generation, Prince Andy, and thus symbolizes legacy, continuity, and hope. Ultimately, DAWUNI'S dream is every human's dream, which is to rise, to lead, and to leave behind a legacy of goodness. Thank you all for sticking with me till the end. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to your colleagues, your friends, and your siblings back at home. See you in my next video. Bye.